All right, so welcome back, guys. Today I will be going over how to manipulate some of the variables in your data set, um, how to select specific cases that you want to look at, how to create scale measures with equal weights, and how to create index measures with unequal weights. Um, So let's go ahead and get started, right? I won't really be teaching you guys how to recode data since we've already done that in class, right? But let's say that for our study, right? For our study, we want to select a certain cases um, within our age group, right? Um, let's say that in the data in the literature we've read that people that are age 25 through 54 they rank among the or suicide ranks among the top 10 reasons for death, right? And among this population it actually ranks top four reasons for death, right? So we want to look at this specific population since suicides do occur more frequently within this population. Okay, so in order to do that, to remove all the data, right? Let's go ahead and reset this. In order to remove all that data, what we would need to do is just select those cases 25 through 54, right? And when we look at the GSS variable age, we do notice that it does start from 18 individuals age 18 to 89 and above, right? So we do need to take away the respondents that fall within 18 to 24, and then 55 and above. Okay, so in order to do that, what we would do is we would go to press the circle, select the circle where it says if condition is satisfied. That would be the one that we would use. The other tabs are for random sampling of your cases, which isn't really something we're going to go over right now. And then the next one would be selecting a certain range of cases in your group. So let's say you want the first 20 cases in your database, right? So if we press continue, it'll only select the first 20 cases and remove the rest. But that's not what we want today. So we're going to go to if condition is satisfied, press the if button. And what we're going to do here is we're going to have to look for the variable age, right? So type it in. You can either look for it on this left box, or you can just type it in yourself, right? So what we want to do here is we want to tell SPSS, we want to give it a command on what it is that we want. So we want people that are above or greater than uh, 24, right? Greater than 24, and we also want uh, those who are less than 55. Okay, so we'll go ahead and press OK and press continue, and it'll show you on your output box. If we go to our data matrix, let's say, okay, let's go to the top of the page, right? And since we selected those that are above 24, it'll show us the next highest number, which is 25. So 25, all respondents age 25, all the way down to 54 would be valid respondents in our data set. And all those that don't fit the criteria are scratched off of our analysis. Okay. So this is just one way to select certain cases. Let's say for your research, you don't need the whole population in the U.S. You don't need all individuals of all ages. You just need a specific case. Let's say 18 to 25, right? You're studying deviant behavior. Uh, So I mean that you would select that group of cases, right? Um, Another thing that you could do, you could also select cases. Let's say you want to just look at females in your study, right? Let's say for suicide, we want to just look at females to see what types of suicide they're more accepting of. So you once again, you want to keep that command, and you would add to it. So and for sex, we want it to equal to 2, right? The reason it's 2 is because this is a sex is the original variable on the GSS, and that one the value 2 indicates females. Okay, so we would want to press continue and OK, right? Let's go to our data matrix. We would go to this button at the top, go to variable, and here we would type in the variable sex. Okay, and we would press go. Okay, and it'll take you to that variable. Let's go ahead and bring it over. All right, so here we see that males have been scratched off from the data set. So now we have males and those that aren't within the age range of 25 and 54 that have been removed from our analysis. Okay, so these are just some things that you can think about when doing your own research, ways of selecting certain cases that benefit your research. Right. So now for the next thing that I'm going to go over, I'm going to go over how to create scale measures. This is when you combine certain variables and they all have equal weights. Okay. Um, so let's say when we study suicide, right? Let's go to our theoretical model. For suicide, we have 4 different variables for suicide, right? But let's say we only want to run one simple linear or one linear regression model, right? So what we could do is we could combine all 4 variables, give them equal weights, and create a scale, a measure that could be our dependent variable, right? So how would we do that? What we would do is we would go to transform, compute variable, and here we would put the new variable that we want in the new name for the new scale, right? So for this one, I'll put suicide acceptability scale. Now, what I would do here is I would go down to the variables that we created on suicide, right? So suicide incurable plus suicide if bankrupt suicide if bankrupt plus suicide if dishonored the family plus suicide if tired of living. What you want to do here is make sure to have it in parentheses. Uh, so once you've done suicide incurable plus bankrupt plus dishonored plus tired of living, you would divide this by the number of variables inside the parentheses, right? So since we have 4 here, we would divide it by 4. And then you press OK. And if we go to the bottom of our variable view, our matrix, if we go to the bottom, we'll go ahead and see that a new variable has been created. Okay, which would be our scales. All right. So for this one, all the 4 variables had equal scale, so they were all scaled at 0.25 each. All right, so now for, let's say that we want to create an index, right, where they're not equal scales. Let's imagine that one type of suicide carries more weight than the other, right? So what we would do here, instead of division, we would multiply each one by the amount of weight we would want to give it. So let's say for suicide incurable, we would want to give it less weight So let's say we want to give it a weight of 0.20. Right, for suicide incurable, suicide and bankrupt. Let's say we want to give that one a weight of, let's say 0.25. For dishonored the family, we want to give that a weight of 0.5 as well. And then for suicide, tired of living, let's say we want to give it a weight of 0.30. Okay, and then here we would just press OK, and it'll create the variable for you. Right, so now let's say that we would want to just see the descriptive statistics for these new measures that we created. Okay, let's press OK. Right, let's check the frequencies. Okay, for scale, and then for the index, press OK. And here, this is for our scale variable. As you can see, they all have equal weights. And then if we look at our index, the values change because these variables were given, or these values were given different weights. All right, so just to summarize what we've gone over in this video, we've learned how to select certain cases. In this case, we selected those that were aged between 25 and 54. We also selected just females for this study. And then we learned how to create a scale measure and an index measure. So, all right, that would be all I have for this video. I'll see you in the next one.